Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our first webinar for the year. I would like to thank SolarMD for always being willing to jump in and adapt according to the topics we would like to offer to you guys. Today is a first of its kind type of webinar. It's not as technical as we usually do it, more focused on a specific topic. So I hope you guys find it interesting. Please feel free to provide some feedback in the chat section if this is something you would like to see more of in the future. And also please feel free to propose any topics you would like to hear more about. Mariska, thank you for joining us, and in advance, thank you so much for your presentation today. I'm going to hand over to you now to start the webinar.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Zane. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Ruska, and I'm the Product and Project Manager at SolarMD. So, as Zane said, today is a little bit different. The topic of discussion will be how to maximize profits with energy storage and how to beat the Eskom tariff hike with SolarMD. So, to get started, this is a little bit of an overview of what we will be discussing today. So we'll cover essentially the impact of the Eskom tariff hikes on energy costs, why battery storage is the key to energy independence, and also how SolarMD solutions can increase profitability, as well as some guidance on some installation best practices. So to begin, why does this topic actually matter? So we know now that in April, we're going to have a 12.7% Eskom tariff hike this year. So energy costs are rising and therefore it is threatening business profitability. But it's not only threatening business profitability, it is also affecting households and the residents as well. So solar and with battery storage is no longer an option, it has now become a necessity. So that is why this topic, now more than ever, is coming up so often. And there's a need for renewable energy sources and also alternative means of energy. So if we look at the Eskom electricity tariff increases year on year, we'll see that in the span of 5 years, there's been a 55.25% increase. So this is looking at 2023 to 2027. So in 2023, there was an 18% increase in the tariff price. 2024, we had a 13% increase. And now this year, we have a 12.7% tariff increase. In 2026, NERSA has approved 5.36% increase, and in 2027 there is going to be a 6.19% increase. So that is just such a significant amount. I mean, the cost of electricity is more than doubled in just over 5 years. So there's definitely a need to search for alternative energy sources and to essentially find ways to mitigate all this rising costs for business profitability. So why relying on grid is no longer an option? So it's no longer viable just to rely on the grid alone. So firstly, some of the challenges that we face, and specifically in South Africa, I mean, the rising costs make electricity quite unpredictable, and load shedding, I mean, just this weekend and towards the end of last week, we had load shedding out of nowhere. So this continues to disrupt productivity. I mean, the grid is quite unreliable, and therefore traditional solar without storage does not protect against the rising tariffs. So in order to beat the rising costs and to have backup power for load shedding, investing in just solar alone is not going to cut it. So therefore, there's lots of benefits for energy storage. Some of the benefits are the fact that you are able to store your solar energy for use when grid power is expensive. You are able to therefore protect your business from power cuts, as well as your home. And you are also able, most importantly, and to see that return on investment, reduce electricity bills with features such as peak shaving and arbitrage. So therefore, having a solar system as well as battery energy storage is the key to energy independence. So grid tied versus storage. So what is now changing? So yes, having solar is advantageous. There's a lot of benefits to just having a solar system, but it does not alone reduce energy bills. So it's not going to provide you that full independence which you need in order to use or to maximize the profit on your system. So without storage, energy is lost if not used immediately. So that is why adding storage will make all of the difference. So some of the features that can help you essentially reduce your costs is peak shaving. And this is when you are able to store your excess solar power and use it during your high tariff hours. And also arbitrage. You can charge your batteries when the electricity costs are cheap and then use that storage when the costs are expensive. And then also, of course, backup power, having that backup power against load shedding or any unpredictable outages that you may face. And then, I'm coming to the ESCOM time of use tariff. So this is essentially some of the times from ESCOM when you can see that the electricity is most expensive. And I thought it would be a little bit interesting to see this because when you set up your arbitrage or you set up your peak shaving, you will look at these values. And obviously this differs. So it's not the same for every it's not the same whether you on the municipality or whether you're on ESCOM. So the charges obviously differ, but more or less the times are the same. So you can see weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and in the evenings from 6 to 8. And then you have your standard hours, those are moderately cost. And then you also have your off-peak hours. So you would definitely look into this and you would try to determine how exactly you would want to set up your system to ensure that you are getting the most out of it. And then how SolarMD batteries can maximize profitability. So cost savings and revenue streams. So specifically, as mentioned before, in order to get the most out of your energy storage system, you can perform features or you are able to perform peak shaving, arbitrage, and then also the backup power. And then why SolarMD batteries stand out specifically. So firstly, SolarMD has been in the industry for over 10 years. So we are definitely an industry leader. Scalability, our products are scalable. It fits into your homes, into your businesses, and also for large-scale commercial applications, we have a product that is suitable for you. And our products in itself are also modular. We also have a smart energy management system, and the smart energy management system obviously allows for features such as peak shaving, arbitrage, and then also the compatibility aspect. We are able to optimize your system and integrate with various other brands as well. So just a little bit of background about us. So we specialize specifically in lithium ion phosphate battery energy solutions for the commercial, utility, and residential application. And our goal has always been to bring affordable, clean energy in Africa where people have no access to the power grid, essentially. So now more than ever, as I mentioned, it is important to invest in, energy storage. So I'm just going to go through a little bit of our product range and what we can offer. And then I will also hand over to my colleague who will go through how you will be able to set this up on your SolarMD battery. So global presence. So why invest with SolarMD specifically? So we have shipped over a gigawatt worth of energy storage globally. We have presence in over 50 countries, and we moved into Africa's first gigawatt factory. We have two factories, one in South Africa, which is our head office, but also one in Europe, in Bulgaria specifically, where we are able to service the European market. And towards the end of January this year, we also opened up a sales office in Dubai, in the MENA region of Dubai. And that office is responsible for the North African region as well as the Middle East. And then we also have SolarMD APAC, which is our Chinese counterparts. They help us with our supply chain and logistics within the Asian region where we need to source goods for our production. And then a technology partner. So beyond just being a manufacturer of batteries and energy storage products, we also view ourselves as a technology partner. So in terms of SolarMD specifically, we've broken it down into about 4 tiers. So production and support. So we are a manufacturer of lithium iron phosphate batteries. And what sets us apart as well from other batteries in the market is that we have such a strong support team. And our support team spans our low voltage range as well as our high voltage range. We also have PCB manufacturing, where we manufacture the boards as well and the components. And then in terms of electrical engineering, our battery management system, our battery management unit, our Logger V2, it's all our design, as well as from a mechanical engineering aspect for our containerized solutions, it is complete in-house construction. So we design, we plan, and we build our containerized solutions, and as far as possible, our batteries as well. And then software development. So our software development team is responsible for our energy management system. They are also responsible for the development of our MyPower24 portal and also the battery and cell level monitoring. So where this also comes important, and also on the topic of our discussion, you're able to perform these features if you have a logger and have access to our MyPower24 portal. This is where you can perform your features such as your peak shaving, your energy arbitrage due to the smart energy management system. So just a little bit of a product overview. So at SolarMD, we have various products, various energy storage applications, as mentioned, for your home or for your business. And especially during these tough and trying times where the rise in electricity costs are not only affecting businesses, but also households, we definitely have a solution for you as well. So looking at our low voltage range, I'm just going to briefly skim over our products, but essentially this is our low voltage range. So we have low voltage batteries for our residential side, and then we also have for our commercial low voltage. So for our residential, we have our SS4083, which is our 8.3 kilowatt hour. And then we also have our popular 14.3 kilowatt hour SS4143 battery. So these products are both wall mounted as well as floor standing. And then we also have our cabinet mount, which is more commercial low voltage. And then there are various configurations from 1 to 4 modules all the way from 1 to 8 modules. And capacity-wise, 57.2 kilowatt hours to about 114.4 kilowatt hours, obviously depending on your specific energy needs and your specific requirements, you are able to scale up our solutions. So just briefly looking at our low voltage. So for our low voltage battery, we have the 8.3. So this is the smallest in our range. As mentioned, the 8.3 as well as the 14.3 are both wall mounted or floor standing. And this is essentially a 48 volt solution. And our products come with a 12-year warranty. So this is an energy output warranty, and you have 5 years guarantee on product material and workmanship. And then this is just some technical information regarding the battery. So for all of our batteries, except the SS4A3, we use CATL cells. So for the 8.3, we use CalB. And this is essentially the smallest one currently in our range, with a 8.3 kilowatt hour capacity and a 7.5 kilowatt hour nominal power at 0.7 C. And then this is just some extra information, but essentially our low voltage batteries can be used for various applications, for grid tied, off grid, can be used as a commercial UPS system, sorry, as well as a residential UPS system. And then, as mentioned, our 14.3 kilowatt hour, our SS418, our SS4143 solution is our most popular. It is also a 48 volt solution. We've sold over 100,000 of these batteries globally. And then this is also just a little bit of technical specifications regarding the battery. So as mentioned, for all of our batteries, we use, besides the 8.3, we use CATL cells, and there's about 16 cells in each of our batteries. And again, the rated capacity is 14.3 kilowatt hours, and then the nominal power is 10 kilowatts at 0.7 C. And then this is just our SS214. So what's different between the residential SS214 and the 8.3 is that the low voltage SS214 is a rack mounted solution. And all of our batteries are scalable. So the 14.3 kilowatt hour can be paralleled with another 14.3 kilowatt hour or an 8.3 kilowatt hour, and so on. So you are able to scale the batteries. So these ones specifically are scalable, modular, in a rack mount, and you are able to scale, as mentioned, up to 8 modules in the rack. And this is also a bestseller. I know IBC specifically also purchases quite a bit of the SS214 from us. So I know that it's also quite popular. And this is also some more technical information. So as mentioned, CATL, and then also it has a similar, it's also a 14.3 kilowatt hour battery. And then this is just the different configurations of the battery. And then now we come to our high voltage batteries. So I'm just going to go through this as well. So this is essentially our high voltage battery. So this is more for the commercial side. And we have various product codes essentially for the high voltage battery range. This is obviously dependent on your requirements. So whatever your specific requirements are, maybe your the operational voltage of your inverter that you plan to use, or depending on what your load is or your consumption and what solution you've determined is the best for you, we have a scalable high voltage option. So for the European market, we have the SS7007, but for the South African market, we work from the SS7011 to the SS7024. So all of these high voltage batteries consist of this high voltage module. So as mentioned, it is a scalable solution, and this is called our SS6143. So this ranges all the way from 51.2 volts to 870.4 volts, obviously depending on how many modules you'll be using per battery. So high energy use, infinitely scalable, and distributor friendly. So again, as with the rest of our batteries, here is a 12-year warranty, and then there's a 5-year guarantee on product material and workmanship. So a little bit more information regarding the battery. The nominal voltage here is 51.2 volts. And then again, the rated capacity is 14.3 kilowatt hours. And then various applications for the high voltage batteries, but mainly commercial applications. So this is just essentially the configuration of our high voltage battery range. So these are modular, and you can extend your existing system anytime when more capacity is needed. So you can parallel your battery racks to an infinite number depending on your requirements. So just having a look at some of the configurations. So you can have 8 battery modules all the way to 17 battery modules. And then you also have your battery management unit as well. And this is essentially the different configurations. So you can see that there's variations within the rated capacity as well as the nominal voltage and the operational voltage, depending on how many batteries you use in your system. And then communication-wise, our batteries can communicate via CAN bus, RS485, Ethernet, and we are also compatible with various inverter brands, and we can establish communication between any brand essentially that you would like to use for your applications. And then this is just a structural overview. So we have our battery management unit, and then we also have our battery modules. So the battery management system is the brains of the battery, and that allows us to check essentially what is happening within the battery at a cellular level. And we are able to read various parameters such as the voltage, the current, the temperature, the potential difference. These are all, we are able to read all of these things via the BMS, and then the battery management unit essentially takes care of the battery and is able to read the BMSs. And then this is just some of the or the protection fuses that we have. We have 1000 volt 200 amp fuse in each of our battery modules. And then now we come to the product overview of our utility scale. So the high voltage racks, infinitely scalable. We obviously sell them separately, but then also in a containerized solution. So the battery energy storage system is essentially the plug and play. And we use our high voltage batteries in the container, and you are able to have there's multiple features within it that allows it to be this plug and play hybrid system, and it's also highly customizable. So I think one thing that is also important, especially given everything that is happening with Eskom and the rise in the tariff increase, having a system that is customizable to suit your needs, especially, for example, if you are a business and you are looking to invest in a battery energy storage system, having that option of it being scalable, but also customizable. So if you are not able to put in all your batteries at once, but you plan to scale up in future, we have that options where you're able to scale up your solution. And it also helps cost savings. And then as you have, or as time goes on and you are able to purchase more batteries, you can. So I think that is also a nice feature that we have, is that you are able to scale up later on. And then also the design is also customizable depending on your requirements. So this is just some information. So ranging from 750 kilowatt hours up to 5.8 megawatt hours per container. So this is essentially our containerized solution. So it can either be a 20-foot container or a 40-foot container, and it is customized, as I mentioned, depending on your requirements. So we have various configurations. It can be battery-only container, or you can have an integrated PCS, integrated charging. You can have one inverter, you can have two inverters. It obviously depends on what you require. And then this is just an overview of what we do offer. So the maximum capacity of our 20-foot battery-only containers is 2.43 megawatt hours. And for the 40-foot battery-only container, it is 5.8 megawatt hours. And essentially, this will utilize 100, or the 20-foot will utilize 170 of those SS6143 modules, considering if it is fully packed, if it has the maximum amount of batteries. But that is also, again, dependent on your requirements, what inverters you are using, and the capacity that you need, and the configuration that you will end up using. And then the 40-foot battery-only container has 408 SS6143 high-voltage battery modules. And then this is our other container options. So you can have battery and inverter. So this is just an example of what that would more or less look like, with the yellow block being the inverter. But as I mentioned, it is customizable. We also have charging cabinets as well that you can place in the container as well to charge the batteries. And so that is also a nice thing, and that will also help in the long run, is having that ability to customize your solution and have this all-in-one inverter, charger, battery solution. And then this is what it essentially looks like. So this entire container gets fabricated here at SolarMD in our manufacturing facility. And we essentially manufactured this from nothing, I would say. We get the containers, we fabricate it, we pull everything apart, we take out the floor, we cut out the back of the container, and it becomes essentially bare. Then it goes through various steps, we end up painting it, but we also manufacture the components. So the connection boxes we manufacture, the floors we manufacture, the racks we manufacture, the buzzways we manufacture, and essentially almost everything that we can make, we do make in this containerized solutions. But an overview, the hoist rail is also something that we've designed. And as I mentioned, 408 batteries, 170 modules. This is obviously quite difficult to lift up, and that's why we've implemented in each of our containerized solutions a hoist rail, and this will allow you to lift the batteries and just slot them in. And also convenient if you decide to expand later on, it will just ease the process of adding all of the batteries in the container. And then we also have our networking and cooling system. And this networking and cooling system contains two 36,000 BTU fans, a Logger V2, a point for, so there's a built-in UPS system as well. Should there be no power, the UPS will start up and it will power the communications. All the communications are at the back of the container, and the entire container is designed for you to access it externally, because as far as possible, we don't want anyone in the container, as it is quite dangerous. And in the event of a fire, we also have a fire suppression system as well. So this is essentially what our containerized solution looks like. And then again, also highly customizable. Not every solution will look like this specifically on the inside, but the main components highlighted will be in the container, such as your AC, your switch disconnect, and then also your grid connection point, and your auxiliary terminals as well. And then this is also another example. So here you can see this one specifically has two charging cabinets, and the chargers we manufacture ourselves as well. So these charging cabinets gets manufactured here at SolarMD. And again, much like our batteries, this is a modular solution. So even with charging, you are able to decide well, how many charges you want to put in at one time. And this provides affordability to customers and clients, having that scalable option, having that customizable option. So we use Winline chargers, they're about 40 kilowatts each, and the capacity of the charging cabinets is over 500 kilowatts per charging cabinet. So looking at this containerized solution, you could have over 1 megawatt worth of charging with the 2 charging cabinets. And we can take a maximum of 13 charges per charging cabinet. And then we also have the inverter that you can also purchase within the container as well. And we are compatible with various brands of inverters. But commonly we use a lot of Kuwaitic inverters as well as SunGrow. And then we also have sites that use Megarevo inverters, but then also it is ultimately the client's choice, whatever inverter that they would like to use. And then this is just some examples of sites where clients have decided to cut on their energy costs and invest in a battery energy storage system. So you can see these are slightly, or there's a few different options here. So we have a 40-foot container, and then we also have clients who like to have a stackable solution. So this double container, this was done for a production facility, a factory. And what is interesting about this one is that the top container has about 5 inverters, and then the bottom, it's both 40-foot containers, has 40-foot, well, batteries, is full of batteries, it's battery only. And again, these are for various clients, various applications. One is for a water plant, another one is for a mall. So the client range is wide, and it's for anyone who really wants to cut down on this energy crisis that we are currently experiencing. And then now, as mentioned before, about some of those key features that is going to allow you to save arbitrage, peak shaving. And this is done through our monitoring and control system. So our monitoring and control system essentially consists of our Logger V2. So our Logger V2 is a product that we manufacture ourselves, and this is essentially our monitoring device. So the high performance Logger V2 offers easy and fast communication with automatic device discovery and connection. There's various interfaces. So you have CAN bus, RS232, RS485, and there's various ways to connect to the logger. The logger is also a key component, or having a logger on site is also a key component to our actual support, because the logger allows you as an end user to have access to the MyPower 24 portal. And it also allows our support department to have access to the MyPower 24 portal. And that's how you are able to view your system, to check everything out on a cellular level, and also to perform various features. So it's quite a crucial part of our product range in order for us to have eyes on the battery and for us to help our clients to the best of our abilities, and also have data that we can look back at, and should there be any issues, we are able to resolve them and at least have data to figure out what we can do. And that is quite a significant part of our company and also our support department. And then at a system level management, so as mentioned, the features such as peak shaving, energy management, grid management, these are all possible through our energy management system. And our energy management system is a comprehensive solution where you are able to monitor, control, and optimize your energy consumption and production of all the connected systems. So the features, as mentioned, includes solar inverter integration. So I think I previously mentioned that we are compatible with various inverter brands. And it's through the energy management system that our software, or it's through our software development team that we are able to establish communication with various inverters, because it is our battery management system design, because we are responsible for writing the code. And we were able to develop an energy management system. This essentially makes it much easier for us to establish compatibility between any inverter brand, provided we have the right documentation. So that is also quite important, the fact that we are compatible with various inverter brands. And this will essentially make it a bit easier when, or give you more options when you are looking for a solution. And then battery level management. So as mentioned, we were responsible for the design of our battery management system. And this essentially provides key functionalities, which include precise cell voltage measurement, cell balancing. This allows us to extend the lifespan, and then also data collection and storage for monitoring. So this is some of the brands that we are compatible with. And then we also come now to our monitoring and control. So in order to save and to beat the Eskom tariff increase, the monitoring control feature of SolarMD, which is a free service, provided you have a logger for your system, is the best way to essentially manage your system. And now I'd like to hand over to my colleague Anthony, who will be taking you through our monitoring and control platform briefly, and also just showing you how you are able to set up the plant controller, which is a feature on the MyPower24 platform, where you are able to perform arbitrage and peak shaving.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Anthony, and I'm from the high voltage support department, where we support not only the batteries, but we also set up the plant control and set up all the control philosophies that the client wants to optimize the system to their needs. And Eriska just asked me this morning to share how we set it up very basically, and also set up the arbitrage. Let me just find the button to share my screen over here. There we go. Can everyone see?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to confirm. So very basically, this is the dashboard, which is completely customizable. If you press the little edit button here, where we can see the daily summary of how the energy was moving through the system and how the battery charge and discharge throughout the day, as well as seeing the real-time energy values, where the energy is coming from and where it's going in the system. And then there's also energy data, so we can track how much PV we are producing, how much load there is on average, and how much grid we use on average, as well as how much the battery is charging and or discharging. And then there's also a little energy wheel to give us an idea of how it looks. And the most important part is on the dashboard, we have a little button where the client can go onto MyPower24 and enable or disable their arbitrage. Say, for instance, when load shedding gets announced and they don't want to discharge anymore during the peak hours, they only want to discharge when it's load shedding, because they want to have as much power as possible, so they can maybe last the 4 hours of load shedding. They can go and press disable, and set it. They're not having, it's outside of peak hours now, 13 minutes ago, so this doesn't affect anything on the system, gladly. But I will enable it again to not forget about it later. And very basically, this interacts with the control we have set up on the plant controller. So this here, once you add all the devices to the logger, it will automatically put itself onto this little diagram, and we will connect it up as a simple mini SLD of the site, basically, very simple. And on this site, we don't control the PV, they use external control for it. But we use it to monitor so that they can see how much they're exporting and producing through MyPower24. But this is just a glimpse of the expressions that are set up. So between 7 and 10 in the morning, if the battery is more than 50%, and we want to do arbitrage when that little button on the dashboard is enabled, then it will target 0 power on the grid, which will stop the inverter from pulling power, and then basically only use energy from the batteries or the solar system. And that's about that for this side of things. If you're wondering what this little thing is here, they just have a relay that we're controlling through the software generator, basically, that tells the client, okay, it is arbitrage now, and that some kind of external thing that they're using to see that. So then on site, if the batteries are discharging, people aren't panicking. Oh no, why are we discharging? But that's just a little extra thing that they asked for that we set up for them. I believe that's it, Rizka. Is there anything else you wanted me to mention?
All good, Anthony. Thank you.
100%, that's a pleasure.
Okay, is there maybe any questions regarding that from anyone? Okay, I'm just gonna share my screen quickly again. Okay, so Anthony just covered now how to set that up on the plant controller. So the plant controller, specifically for our high voltage sites at the moment. And yeah, like he showed you, it's quite simple. You can set up logics for energy arbitrage, for peak shaving, and you can decide how and when you'd like to charge your batteries. And then also, as per the previous slide, you can see that he showed that they set up arbitrage between the hours of 7 and 10 a.m. And that is when it is basically peak time and when electricity costs are high. So they want 0 grid, and then they'll be using the excess storage. And that's a way to essentially save on costs. And then we come to our after sales support. So Anthony's from our support department, and they are quite strong in their technical support, and they will help you troubleshoot any issues related to both the low voltage and high voltage batteries. They assist remotely with firmware updates, and they're available Monday to Saturday via WhatsApp. And then we come to installation best practices and system optimization. So the best practices for installation, and I mean, Anthony, you can also jump in here as well, is having correct system sizing for different clients. So I think that is quite important, making sure that you size your system correctly so that you are able to choose the correct energy storage system for you. So depending on what inverter you use, depending on what your load is, there's a lot of factors that need to be taken into consideration. And what makes using SolarMD batteries specifically so nice is that you have that option of it being modular, of it being scalable. And then what installers should consider is battery placement and ventilation. So some one of the most important things about batteries, not just SolarMD batteries, but lithium iron phosphate batteries in general, is that they should be kept at room temperature. The ideal temperature for them to operate is around 25 degrees. And then also, I mean, common mistakes would be improper connections. So there's just a plug that hasn't been put in correctly, or there's a wire that is mixed up with another wire, and there's not proper communication with the inverters, or there's various things, like small things that installers should consider, that by just taking a bit longer and just double checking everything, proper connection does make a big difference. And then also energy management system, to consider having an energy management system that can allow you to beat the Eskom tariff increases, essentially. Having, like Anthony showed us, the plant controller, having the dashboard, being able to monitor various things can help you make the most out of your system. And then the key takeaways is that these Eskom tariffs are rising. I mean, it's been rising significantly. I mean, 55%. That is more than double in just the span of 5 years. And I mean, it's not just Eskom tariffs that are rising. Everything is rising. Everything is being inflated. Things that were a certain price 3 years ago are like triple the price. And if there's a way for us to at least benefit from investing in renewable energy sources, and at least having your energy to be one of your something you don't have to worry about that often, then that will be extremely beneficial. And SolarMD is here. We are prepared. We have the products and we have the features, and we will help you maximize on your savings with features such as peak shaving and arbitrage for your costs, and also have that backup power. So our products are built for the real world energy challenges in South Africa, and we will have a solution for you. And then thank you to everyone who has joined the webinar. That is the presentation. I try to make it as short as possible, but also just sharing some of the products that we do have in our portfolio. Please let me know if there is any questions.
Thank you so much, Riska. I see there's a question. I'm not sure if you already answered it in the chat section. Do the SolarMD batteries have thermal aerosol fire suppression fuses built in?
Thermal fire suppression fuses built in. Is there a specific thermal aerosol fuse that there is thermal fuses, yes, built in, not fuses, but there is sensors built into the batteries, and we do have fire suppression in our containerized solutions, but not in our batteries. So not in our batteries. Okay, is there any other questions? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any more questions come through. I will upload a recording. Riska, can you also just email me your presentation if you don't mind? And I'll upload the presentation as well as the recording to our website. I did provide the link to where we do load these recordings in the chat section. I will post it again. So yeah, I see no further questions. So thank you so much, Riska, as well as Anthony. I think it was very insightful, and we appreciate the time you took to educate us a little bit on your products.
Thank you so much, Sane, and thank you everyone who joined. We'll see you in the next. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.